What if I told you that one of the most powerful Catholic awakenings in the world is happening right now in a place where Christianity is illegal, where churches are watched, and where converting from Islam can cost your freedom or even your life? What if I told you that deep inside the Islamic Republic of Iran, beneath the pressure of fear and strict control, thousands of souls are quietly turning toward the Catholic Church, not in public, not in daylight, but in secret rooms, locked apartments, and hidden online communities? Stay with this video until the end, because the story you're about to hear is not just surprising. It is a fire that will shake your spirit, challenge your faith, and remind you of the courage that still lives inside the human heart. Across Iran, something extraordinary is unfolding. Behind closed doors, away from the eyes of the authorities, ordinary men and women are kneeling on cold floors, lighting single candles, whispering prayers in the night, and risking everything to follow a faith they were told to fear. In underground rooms with curtains drawn tight, you can find small groups gathered around a phone screen watching a Catholic Mass in secret. You can find someone holding a handmade rosary with trembling hands. You can find families secretly reading the Bible, passing it around like a treasure that could get them arrested if discovered. This is not a rumor. This is not a fantasy. This is happening at this very moment. Many people outside Iran cannot understand how such a movement can exist under a government that claims to speak for God and uses religion as law. But the truth is, Iran today is experiencing a deep spiritual hunger. For decades, the regime insisted that Islam was the only truth. Yet the people have seen corruption, oppression, and suffering wrapped in religious language. They have watched leaders use God as a political weapon. They have watched faith become a tool of control. And slowly, many began to question the belief system they inherited. They began to ask the questions no one wanted to say aloud. Why does faith feel like fear? Why does God feel distant? Why does the soul feel empty even after a lifetime of prayer forced by pressure? According to a respected Iranian research group, only about 1/3 of Iranians today still identify as Shia Muslim. That is a shocking drop from the days when around 95% of the country claimed loyalty to Islam. This collapse in religious identity has opened a wide space in the hearts of millions, space for searching, wondering, and longing for something that feels real, ancient, meaningful, and freeing. And in this space, countless Iranians have encountered something they never expected: the Catholic Church. But why Catholicism? Why not simply leave religion behind altogether? Why not choose an easier path, one that demands less sacrifice? The answer lies in something deeper than curiosity. Many Iranians are not simply looking for a new religion. They are searching for truth unchangeable, ancient truth that does not bend to politics. A truth that carries spiritual authority, a truth that brings peace that no government can offer. When seekers explore Christianity online, they often begin with simple questions. Who is Jesus? What do Christians believe? Why do people worship a crucified man? These questions pull them into videos, articles, and testimonies. Many end up watching Protestant sermons first, since they are more common online. But for a large number of Iranians, something still feels incomplete. They say they feel like they are missing the full picture, the full story, the full depth. Then at some point in their journey, they discover something different, something older, something mysterious, something that feels like stepping into a world they somehow always sensed but never knew. They discover the Catholic Church. What strikes them first is not doctrine, but reverence. The way Catholics treat the sacred. The way the Church speaks with a quiet yet unshaken authority. The way its worship is not about emotion or performance, but mystery and wonder. Many Iranians raised in a culture that respects ritual and beauty feel a deep pull toward liturgy, incense, hymns, and the quiet power of the Mass. But more than anything else, it is the Eucharist that captures their hearts. For a person who has grown up hearing about God as distant, it's unreachable and severe. The idea that God comes to us physically, gently, in the form of bread and wine is almost impossible to imagine. But when they learn that the Catholic Church teaches the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist, that Jesus himself enters our lives in the most intimate way, their hearts open. They say it feels like moving from shadows into light, from fear into love, from rule-based religion into a living relationship. The Eucharist becomes the center of their longing. And once they understand this mystery, they can no longer settle for symbolic rituals. They want the fullness of the faith. They want the sacraments. They want the church that has carried this truth for 2,000 years through persecution, war, and darkness. They want Catholicism. Another powerful reason Iranians turn to the Catholic Church is Mary. In Islam, Mary is honored, respected, and considered pure. She is the most beloved woman in the Quran. So when Iranian seekers learn that Catholicism gives Mary a deeper, more intimate place, not just as a respected figure, but as a mother, a guide, and an intercessor, their hearts soften. Many former Muslims describe encountering Mary as discovering a love they had always hoped for but never experienced. She becomes a bridge between their past and their future. She helps them approach Jesus with confidence. Her gentleness brings healing to wounds caused by fear-based religion. But with all this beauty, there is also a heavy cost. In Iran, converting from Islam is a crime. It can lead to being fired from your job, disowned by your family, imprisoned, tortured, or even killed. Many Catholics in Iran worship in total secrecy. They do not have churches they can openly visit. They do not have priests they can freely meet. Baptisms happen quietly, sometimes in a friend's apartment, sometimes using water poured from a bottle. Confessions happen in whispers through encrypted calls. The Eucharist, when available, is received with tears because it may be months before the next time. Everything they do for their faith is dangerous, and yet they continue. They continue because something powerful is happening in their souls. One of the most astonishing parts of this movement is how it often begins not through missionaries or websites, but through dreams and visions. Many Iranians report seeing Jesus in dreams, not just as a distant figure, but calling them by name, inviting them to follow him, showing them light, offering peace. Others dream of Mary standing beside them, comforting them, guiding them away from fear. These experiences shake them deeply. They begin searching for answers. And those answers lead them to the gospel, to prayer, and eventually to the Catholic faith. These dreams are not random. They are happening everywhere men, women, young people, old people. In small towns and big cities, in wealthy homes and poor neighborhoods, it is as if God is moving through the country, knocking softly on hearts, inviting them into a love they have never known. But dreams alone are not enough to grow a faith community. This is where the digital world becomes a miracle. In Iran, Christian evangelization is forbidden. Churches are monitored. Bibles are taken away. Yet through satellite TV, YouTube, VPNs, and encrypted apps, Iranians find Catholic masses, catechism classes, homilies, and prayer guides in their own language. Even in the middle of the night, when the streets are quiet and the house is dark, someone may be watching a Catholic priest explain the gospel from a studio thousands of miles away. Someone may be praying the rosary using an app on their phone. Someone may be reading the catechism in secret. Someone may be messaging a digital missionary asking how to be baptized. Across borders, countries like Turkey, Armenia, and Lebanon, priests quietly guide Iranian converts through online meetings. They prepare them step by step. And when the moment comes, these new believers travel in secret to receive the sacraments. Some do it legally through asylum. Others take dangerous journeys. But all of them say the same thing: it was worth it. Their courage is hard to describe. These are people who risk everything for a single Eucharist. People who memorize entire Bible chapters because they fear their phone may be taken. People who hide rosaries behind bookshelves or inside cushions. People who have been beaten or questioned, yet refuse to deny Christ. Their faith is not comfortable. It is not casual. It is not something for weekends. It is the center of their lives. To understand the heart of this movement, consider one powerful story. A woman from northern Iran grew up in a strict Muslim family. Her life was controlled by rules, fear, and constant pressure. She prayed because she had to, not because she felt God's love. But everything changed when she had a dream. In the dream, she stood in a dark place, afraid and alone. Then a man in white appeared holding a rosary. He looked at her with kindness she had never seen before. He said, "Follow me." When she woke, she searched for the meaning of the dream. She learned about the rosary. She began to pray quietly at night. She felt a peace she had never known. Later, through an underground contact, she met a priest online who taught her about Christ and the sacraments. Her baptism happened in a small apartment with curtains shut, using water from a simple cup. Today, she prays the rosary every night. Her family thinks she is meditating. They do not know she has become a Catholic. She says, "For the first time in my life, I feel free." Stories like hers are happening throughout Iran. Stories of courage, risk, and profound transformation. These believers are not converting for money, not for fame, not for attention. They convert because they have encountered truth. They have encountered love. They have encountered Christ. What does this mean for the rest of us? It means we must look into our own hearts. Many of us live in free countries. We can attend Mass anytime. We can carry a Bible openly. We can pray in public. Yet many of us skip Mass. Many of us take the Eucharist lightly. Many of us forget the gift we have. But if someone in Iran is willing to risk prison for one Mass, how can we take ours for granted? If someone in Iran whispers the rosary in fear of being discovered, how can we forget to pray when we are free? If someone in Iran would rather die than deny Jesus, how can we stay silent in safe places? Their faith challenges us. It shakes our comfort. It reminds us that being Catholic is not about habit. It is about love. It is about devotion. It is about sacrifice. And perhaps most importantly, it is about choosing Christ even when the world stands against you. The movement in Iran shows something the world needs to remember. The church does not die in persecution. It grows. It becomes stronger. It becomes purer. It becomes more courageous. When the world tries to silence the gospel, God speaks louder in the hearts of those willing to listen. He moves through dreams, through digital paths, through hidden communities, through ordinary people transformed by grace, behind the walls of fear, behind the laws meant to silence faith. A quiet Catholic revolution is rising in Iran. It rises in candlelit rooms. It rises in whispered prayers. It rises in the courage of those who risk everything for the truth. And it rises in the unshakable love of Christ, who reaches people even in places where his name is forbidden. If this story touched you, then let it also call you. Let it remind you to value your faith, to seek Christ more deeply, and to stand with those who carry the cross in silence. Support them with your prayers. Offer a rosary for them this week. Share this video so more people can know their courage. And remember, the fire of God often begins in the darkest places. Sometimes the greatest faith grows where it should not survive. If this message opened your heart, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more powerful stories. And tell us in the comments, would you risk everything for your faith?